Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of CAV HQ Live. I am your host, CAV Boss. All right, as usual, we'll give everybody a little time to show up and get in. Good evening, Doug. Doug DX88. How are you doing? Let's see here. Look at something right quick. I missed on having my second monitor. I need to bring that back. He says. All right. Lucky Lou, Lucky Lou. Let's see here. All right. So I hope everybody's having a good week so far. Mine has been very up and down, but it is what it is. We did get our new 3D printer, production printer, installed last Friday. So we're very happy to have that in and going. It will allow us to produce now all of our masters in-house, and also we will be producing some items with the material that we use. The material, the particular resin that this printer uses is very similar in consistency and so forth to the CyoCast, to our dual cast. So I think everybody will be happy with it. It allows us to get some things out a little quicker. Hello, Ringzinger, Irizingo. I don't know how you pronounce that. Sorry. Earingzo. I have a horrible time pronouncing anything anyway. But for every new piece of machinery, an old piece of machinery decides to act up. So we've had that over to the E-ring-zo. Zo. I'll go with Zo. E-ring-zo. I'm sure there's probably some deep psychological meaning there. Or Johnny. I get it. A little tombstone action there. I thought on Twitch you could use any names you wanted to, as far as handles. Maybe that's something else. I don't remember. I thought your account had to have something unique, but I thought you could. 80s punk song. Oh, well, I'm totally off. too many Johnny Ringos out there. Oh, what a day, what a day, what a day. All right, let's see. Let's get this show on the road. Maybe. Get everything working. All right, so starting next month in October, we're going to be doing the kind of the CAV CAV Day, I guess. We don't have an official name for it yet. Down at the Reaper Game Store down in Denton, Texas. Every third weekend, I'm going to be down there. We're going to be doing gaming stuff on Saturday. And then Sunday morning-ish, afternoon-ish, we're going to kind of do a hobby day where we can paint and work on things. So if you're in the area or want to attend, we'll have an announcement here towards the end of the week or first of next week for it. I think it starts in October, and I think that it falls on the 15th and 16th because we get an early weekend in October right off the bat. So, but one of the things that we've been talking about is league, either as a slow grow league or whatever. And so we're looking at different ideas. If you've ever played in a slow grow league or some kind of a miniatures league or something like that, if you have some ideas that you think will work, or if you have questions, we are all willing to listen and kind of get some ideas of where we go. I've never done a slow grow league. I know they've become real popular. I know a couple of leagues I played in over the years, I don't know that they would necessarily translate very well into CAV. I know that I have been working on some point values. That I've been working kind of on a scenario generator deal. So kind of coming up with some average numbers for threat values as to things that you can use in order to pick out some points. If you get a chance, I put kind of the basis of this is up on the forums on the BattleNet at the talon-games.com/BattleNet. Down in the CAV rules section, there's an area 51 that I put that up in there. I think I can put a link up in here too. All right, yeah, I can put the link up in there. But basically what this is for players to kind of have an idea of point-wise what kind of squads and whatnot that they want to make. So it's set up into 3 groups. If you're just going to play with CAVs only or vehicles only or a mixture of CAVs and vehicles and whatnot. There's no necessarily points included for aircraft and infantry because it's kind of figured into the average of the points already. So if you took a vehicle only force, but you wanted to also have aircraft and infantry, those points will fall over into, you have to use some of those points to purchase those, but you have some padding on each of those that'll let you have plenty of room to put those in there. So, the first thing is to kind of decide what kind of a mix you want. If you want to keep it really large, you're going to kind of have to play with those points. So, like at the top chart, if you want to have a medium average, so that would be some big guys and some small guys, and some in the middle. That would be a 2,000 point squad, basically, is where you would be playing that based on 5 models. Obviously, if you played with 4 models or 6 models, that's going to move that around. But there's just lots and lots of different so much criteria in there, that you can int it to death. So this is just kind of a broad area to kind of get you started. So like at the bottom, then the 2. So let's say you wanted to have a mixture of CAV and vehicles, and you kind of wanted to stay medium, not too heavy, not too light. That gives you a squad size of 1,625 points. Obviously, vehicles run less as a general rule, mainly because they can only go up to 8 DT. So, that has a big influence on what they can and can't do. But really for, thinking about a slow grow league, my assumption would be generally that would be a squad, I guess, that everybody would. Hi, Elmarin, welcome. And just kind of build from there. I like I said, right now it's just kind of in the idea phase, trying to figure out some things that work or won't work. But any ideas, any questions anybody wants to throw out there? Or? Going to be a quiet night. Well, let's look here and let's see if there's some what's out on the internet too. Oh, yeah, they become real popular. Cold and sleepy. Well, it depends on how you want to set it up. So, I mean, here's a pretty good. Well, and that's really what this is. I mean, this is not a it's directed towards players that want to start a group that that may be working out of a store, something at their local store that they can start building up. So there's different variations on that out there. And that's really what our experimentation there with our CAV weekend in Denton that's really going to be our guinea pig, kind of our testing lab to see how we can make some events work either as a group or as a store. Well, the cool thing too about the slow grow leagues, especially if you're working out of a store, is if you're trying to get a store to pick that up, if you can show that you've got players coming in, that would give them the opportunity to stock models and have new players and stuff like that, purchase models from that store, both to support them and have something there for new players, that people that come in and look at things and stuff like that. So. But like I say, if you just do a slow grow league search on Google or whatever, it comes up with kind of things. Yeah, no, I know my hope is that as we do this and people see what we're doing and we come up with new ideas and things that we can provide and add to people, that players will pick that up in their area so that they don't have to go to Denton. I know that everybody, it's Denton's 5-hour drive for me. So, hi Tiger Wraith, how are you tonight? For everybody that's coming in a little late, we're kind of just bouncing some ideas about slow grow leagues, stuff like that. But that's kind of what and then it's just kind of a chat night, just kind of, if you have a particular question or something you want me to try to cover, I will do my best. The rules update, I am crushing it as fast and as hard as I can. So, will it be out exactly here on the last day of the month? Probably not, but between here and the weekend and the first of next week, it should be dropping. I'm just trying to finish the layout with everything else that's been going on. So. Well, you don't want to start with 2 squads. You want to start out with you don't want somebody to have to immediately go buy 5 or 10 models. I don't think you necessarily want to start off with one, so to me, probably it's squad. Start off with a squad, X number of points. Let everybody pick that squad in there, whether it's 4 or 5 or 6 models, and and then start off, and then start having games, squad versus squad. Grow from there. CAV is not really a one-on-one model type of fight, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. So right there, if you've got a 4 model squad, if that's what you want to start off with. But it's still not a matter of cost. 10 models for CAV is less than 3 models for a game, but 10 models of CAV is still $50 or $60. I think you would have a lot better luck in the beginning to get people to start out for $20. But yes, all the squads that you can get with the book combo are special squads. Well, you're going to grow into that. So. Tomatoes, tomatoes. I mean, to me, obviously, you would start with 1 squad, then go to 2 squads, then go to 3 squads, maybe 4, 3 for sure. That gets you into the tournament area. Oh, hey there, chair. Eject, eject, eject. Yeah, no, the back come loose there for a second. So it's not a matter of falling, it's just a matter of rolling over. And that's you can build off of that. As you could have 1 week, you can add an extra squad and then add, a special squad, like a go into a flight squad. They just rolled me out the door and tossed me to the ground. But right now, it's just in the ideas. I am going to start a spot on the forums and mention it in Discord as well. Kind of start getting some ideas. I would make a note just in case if you are making any purchases between now and the end of the month to get the special CAV bays Our laser cutter is down. Hopefully we are going to have that rectified this week. It's something I've been working on for 3 or 4 days. And, but do not worry, we are going to, right now we're just putting a voucher in there, and so that you know you're still going to get them. We'll just ship them in a second package. So just FYI, I know that we had some packages go out this week that do not have them included. Thank you, sir, for the subscription for 6 months in advance. Wow. You are a man looking ahead. I did also want to kind of touch base because I try to get into Discord regularly to look at things. Because it's such conversational based, sometimes it's hard for me to, if you guys get into a big conversation, to catch everything. I know if you have a specific question or something like that, really the forums is a better place to leave a note for me that I can see. But I know that there was some things being talked about, the rules update, as to what was and what happened. And so I'm going to touch base on that a little bit tonight too, just to kind of make sure everybody's on the same page as to what's going on. So the original rule book was released in 2015, so it's been 7 years. We have really, at this point, of course, over the 7 years, we've found things that worked better, things that didn't work so good, things that got a lot more exposure to a lot of players, and found, a hole here, a hole there. And this is something that we had really planned on addressing before COVID, about the time COVID hit. We were working on a couple of different things, and COVID got in the way, and it caused problems everywhere. And really, we ended up spending most of our COVID time taking care of production issues, because between shipping and everything that just went nuts, we had to start looking at different things. So that resulted in dual cast and the production 3D printers. We finally kind of got that behind us, so we're able to move back into the game, the mechanics side of things. And for the most part, we're out of rule books. There's a few here and a few there, but for the sake of actual books that are out there, there's not very many left. We did a production run of 6,000 books. So, I would say there probably maybe 100 books left. So, we've gone through a lot of books, in our time, and most of that was weighted early before COVID. It has never been my intention for this to turn into a book of the month kind of a game. I know that's out there. I know the other mech game is big about doing that. I don't know how many times they can release the same set of rules in a box, in a book. And at this point, I guess it's just because people want to be more of a collector, want to be a completist on it. But the rules are the rules. Obviously, they have a longer time period that they have worked on those, and it is what it is. But that's not what Talon Games and CAV is about. I'm at the end of the day, I want to have as much fun doing this as you guys do. And certainly every time I turn around, buying a book is not fun for me. Now, with that being said, I know some people like it, some people are like, why aren't you doing that or whatever, but well, that's why. That's just not my cup of tea. I don't want to get into that. Down the road, we will probably print the rule book again. But what the plan is with the rules update is we're taking the core set of the rules, not the background, not all that stuff, not the force group or the tactile briefings and things like that. This is the core set of rules, how you play the game, how the essays work, and the construction system. So we're updating those with errata that's already out there. So we're just pulling that over into there. We are making some tweaks to the game rules. I know that you guys have seen some things that's come up like close combat or close assault. Close assault is going to be gone. There's various reasoning behind that. First off is I think there's been a misconception with people, and it's probably the way it's named and stuff like that, is CAV is not a mech melee game, all right? And never has been. There is no CAVs punching each other, kicking each other, racking each other, charging each other. CAV's never been that way. And probably the best way to talk about that and how that goes into the philosophy behind the game is tanks. Now, I'm not saying in the grand scheme of the world, in all of history and time, that a tank is not rammed into another tank. But the vast majority of the time, that doesn't happen. Tank's best weapon is that gun. And the farther away they can shoot, the better they are. And that's really, that's the way I've always looked at CAV. So it was never a matter of punching and kicking or whatever. It was, close assault was more of the fur ball, getting in so close and so tight that it just becomes even more about maneuver than it does anything else. The main reason that was put in there was because of infantry. Infantry have to get up close. They're very much more hands-on as far as, satchel charges, swarming over, getting up, throwing grenades into hatches, whatnot, and everything like that. So the system was put together like that so that all that could work together. So it was a matter of, when CAVs and everything got so close to one another, they're still maneuvering, they're still moving. It may not reflect it in the actual deal because everybody's so close together, but that was always the idea behind close assault. And after releasing the rule book and playing, I don't know how many games that I've played in the last 7 years. It's a bunch. Literally, I think that I can count the number of times that I saw a close assault on one hand. So we're talking 7 years, tens, if not hundreds of games. Less than 5 times have I seen a close assault. That's not saying that you guys play your games and have a close assault every game or whatever. I just know over all the games I've played, certainly under 2 hands, but probably on 1. I can count the number of times. So we have a section of rules. We have a vast majority of essays, that are tied into that. We have a section of the construction rules. We have a section on the card. So it's just taking up space for something that's not being used. So what I have done is we have got rid of close assault. We have reapproached the way that we do infantry so that they are still able to do their thing, but it works in the other rules that we already have without needing to do a whole bunch of special stuff. So, if I've got emails on this from people, generally from the email side of it, it's more from in their mind, they're thinking about calves punching and kicking, and they don't. They never have. Now, it would be cool to come back at some point and do some kind of a gladiator style of short rules or something like that for, an arena game or something, that we could put some things in there. And we've talked about doing that, something that's more of that would be more directed towards, if you wanted to just do one calf versus one calf. And that's something that we'll look at down the road. And RPG-wise, yes. I mean, there's just a lot of things that could go in there. They would be less generalized rules and more directed towards a certain group of players that want to, go that extra step, that extra layer. So that's where it is. So sending me an email in whatever format that you want will not change what's going to happen. Closed assault is gone. So just live with it or don't. I don't know what else to say. I have got a couple of ugly emails in the last month, by the way. So, so that, and part of it is they were given small bit of information rather than the whole picture. So, we get things straightened out. There's a little different ways in how aircraft are worked. There's a little different ways some of the SAs will work going forward. There have been some tweaks to the weapons. Not a huge one. A couple of, I don't know that any SAs got moved around really, but there are some new weapons that are coming out. Couple of new SAs that are in there. But overall, the number of SAs has dropped way down, let's say, with all the deals out of there. Double time has become a state as opposed to an SA. So there's no models automatically get double time anymore. It's just if you move a total of 10 inches in one direction moving forward, you can turn or whatever, but a total of 10 inches forward, you get double time. So, if you are a movement 5 model and you want to spend both move actions to move 5 inches forward for a total of 10 inches, you've got double time. Not a lot of, I don't think a lot's changed with aircraft. I think that there's a little bit of difference in the way a couple of things are done. The way that NAP of Earth is being handled a little bit, the way anti-aircraft. I guess one of the big things that it's not a big thing. I really, in the grand scheme of things, other than close assault being dropped, I don't think there's anything that's big. I think more of it is it's if you already know how to play the game, if you move a total of 10 inches during one activation, you have double time. And, where the difference comes from that, though, remember too, is if you shoot, unless you have assault, you're going to have a negative to your weapons fire. So keep that in mind. It's a trade-off. And if you do have assault, you gave up a half hard point for every point of assault you have. So, a model with an assault 2 has given up a full hard point. So, that's could have been used for something else. Yes, yes. I will say that the data cards will not all be updated with the rules update right away. As soon as the rules update is done releasing, I will switch full speed over to the cards, and I will get the cards out as fast as I can. The way that we do cards, those have to be done by hand. It's, and it just takes, it doesn't take a lot of time to do the card. It's just, there's a lot of cards that have to be done. So hang in there. I will get them out as fast as I can go. I will prioritize the squads, the 7 squads, the book squads first. So that will get, 28 of them right away. And I don't know, we did a preview. If you go back and look on the Facebook pages, I don't know if I put it up on the forums or not. There is a example of the card. Yes, Max and MRAX have a longer minimum range. The main thing that I have always tried to do with a rule or a piece of equipment in CAV is there is a plus and a minus, a positive and a negative. So some of that needed to be adjusted a little bit. So Max and MRAX tend to be your higher damage things, but they need to have a weakness. So obviously they can't be used against infantry, they can't be used against aircraft, and also minimum range. So if you get up underneath their guns, the lasers become a much more positive deal. So if you're one big Mac guy, you might want to put a couple of lasers on there or something. The black and white ones be batch adjusted. No. So one of the things that, and we are going to try, here's how that's going to work. So because of the changes, even though that they're not big changes with the way some of the equipment is figured, it is breaking the CP program. I think that the force manager can be salvaged somewhat because it works off of a different process, even though there's some things that are not that are not covered, because there's a new kind of squad, the provisional squad. So here's the problem with CAV CP and the force manager. They will still work. They will still be out there. They are still 80% functional with the rules. The designer, the guy that programmed that for us, is not available anymore. Also, I think that there was a better way to do a couple of things that I think that he did a hard way to do it. And the program is written in C++. So, which is okay, but one of the things that we want to get the programs to do is we want them to work online. So that rather than download the program, you will just go to a page and use the program, okay? Well, C++ is not the best thing to do that in. So we are in the process of taking those programs and breaking them down and figure out what we want to use and what we want to make better and how we can make it work better and how to make it work online. I can't tell you when that's going to happen. We're working on it now, but it's not going to be ready for a while. mainly part of it would be, the guys that are going to be working on the program, they don't play CAV. They're not CAV players. So to them, when I hand them something, they're looking at it from a program side of thing, not as a game kind of thing. So they need to understand, right now we're in the process of making them understand how the game works and what we need. And once we have that architecture drafted out and everything set out, we'll go from there. So hang in there. I wish I could give you a time to tell you when it's going to be ready, but I can't. I don't know for sure. I think going into winter helps because people tend to stay at home more during the winter. So maybe our programmers will get more done between now and spring. There was something else with the new rules that I did want to touch base with. And I lost my train of thought. It was a short train. What was I talking about when I was going to do that? It will also incorporate the new expanded initiative deck. That's going to be included as part of that. So as soon as the rule update's done, we'll get the cards out ASAP. But part of the process behind the rules update too is it's still not going to be perfect. I mean, there's things, little changes that we made that may come back, oh, well, we changed that too much or whatever like that. I mean, we've had some time to play test some things and stuff like that. But again, anytime you throw something out there that 10 people's worked with and now 100 people have access to, they're going to find stuff that we do. So the rules update is going to be a living document. So we will adjust the PDF as we need to. So there's no desire to print out another rule book. If you buy one of the last rule books or whatever, all the background, all the stuff, the vast majority of the way the things work, it's all the same. The combat system is the same. The main thing that the combat system adjusts is the fact that it all makes it work the same. So, like right now, and people have different ways that they do things. Some people like to add their modifiers to their dice roll. Some people like to change their target point. And because we had plus modifiers and minus modifiers and things like this that went in there, it lended people to go either way. So we had to pick a way that we wanted for it to go forward. So, in the rules from now on, it's always presented as to adjust your target number. So going forward, negative modifiers are actually good ones and positive modifiers are actually bad ones. Because you're moving your target point up and down. So if your target point is 7 and he has light cover, your target point goes to 8. If your target point was 7 and you have Wizzo and a target lock 1, then your target point is 5. So you'll very quickly figure out what your target point is and then make all your rolls. Instead of trying to add this number to that dice roll and this number to that dice roll, you're always working from the very same number. And then you just take the difference from what you roll. If your target point's a 5, you roll a 7, your margin of success is 2, you add that to the weapon, you compare it to the armor, voila, you're done. And I've always said that CAV is never intended to be a rock, scissors, and paper game. If you are looking for something that is so simple to play, CAV is not that game. But on the flip side of that, it is not a hard game. I think that it finds a happy niche so that it provides some play, some details, some things that you can do without going into needing all these charts and things like that. Really, the only 2 charts that you will ever have is the the damage table and the critical table. And once you play a little bit, you know what those are. You never have to look at it again. But I'm excited. Like I said, as new things come up or whatever, we will tweak the PDF. Once that I think that the PDF is where it needs to be, here over the next month or two or whatever, those sections will be, rather than print a new rule book and invalidate the rule book that you already have, we'll be including those sections into upcoming books. So the construction system will be part of the first JOR book. The actual core rules will be part of the campaign book. We'll do some background books or whatever, and that's where that stuff will move over there. So whether we'll print an actual another rule book down the road, I don't know. It'll all be online as far as the core rules and the construct. That'll all be, how to play the game, and all the data cards will be online going forward. So if you do not want to buy a book, there's no need to buy a book. Everything is going to be online that you can use and play with. So for free. So there is that. But I'm excited for it. It's been a long time coming. But now that we're getting more into we're back into the rule side of it, the book side of it. We've got lots and lots of miniatures to release. I think right now the count is we've got like 100 finished models. So lots of things coming out. We'll start trying to get some pictures of stuff out too for people to look at. So we've got all that going. But I just want to make sure and touch base that there is no major, huge whack-a-mole kind of things coming with the rules update. If you play the game and played the game, if you're learning the game or whatever, you'll be fine. Like I said, the other thing is just ignore close combat. All right, so we're down here to the last 5 minutes of the night. Any questions, anything anybody wants me to touch since I've droned on for 30 minutes? Didn't get a whole lot of talk on the Slow Grow League in tonight, but like I said, I'm going to start a forum thread up on the BattleNet and get some ideas for some people. If you're not sure, again, what a Slow Grower League is, just go to Google and Google Slow Grow League. There's Warhammer, there's all kinds of stuff coming up for all these different things. But we want to get some ideas from people and what they want to see in a league. So, do we know what the next model release will be? Sort of. I think that the redone Vindicator will be coming out. That was one we had intended on releasing last month, and we had some problems with the molding on it. So now that we've got the new 3D printer, we're going to do new different masters. Is this being updated? What is this? Let me finish on the models first, and then explain what you're asking me. I think that the Mastodon is going to be the next CAV release. Vehicle-wise, I think there's two CAV. There's a Mastodon, and then there's another CAV. And then there's two vehicles. Oh, the Akula is one of the vehicles. We're gonna get this finalized over the next couple of days, because these will all start being printed next week. But I know of those three: the Vindicator, the Mastodon, and I don't remember what the second CAV is. I can't remember off the top of my head. I faded out. Sorry, I am fading out. The website, CAV, so Miniature Game Works. I have no idea what that website is. If you're talking about our website will be updated at some point. CAV, Miniature Game Works. Is that a website? You copy that. I have no idea what that is, so. Force builder. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So this is not ours. This is that's funny that still comes up. Yes, it's Dark Horse Hobbies. You need to get a hold of Dark Horse Hobbies. He carries the figures. He's actually based in Kansas now. I actually talked to him the other night on a retail thing. Yeah, this is his store with the CAV section. So certainly email him. Yeah, tell him, hey, you need to and get that finished up. I don't remember what was going on with that off the top of my head. But I mean, it looked great. I mean, it had a great start to it. I'd forgotten about that. I think he was having. I think part of it was he started that, and then we released ours, and I think that he decided not to finish up or something. I don't know, or he couldn't make something work with the way we had done something or whatever. But anyway. So, all right, any last questions? Anything I can touch base with? I will get, as soon as I get the release finalized. The Mastodon, actually you can make like 3 different models with that when we release that. I think it comes with the parts for 3 different models. Also, I think it will be the biggest CAV we've ever made. So. Keep that in mind too. He's a big chunky boy. More chunky than normal. All right, well, guys, thanks again for being here. Unless something else comes up, I'll be back next week. If there's something you want me to touch on during a stream, please make a note in the forums. I'm trying to keep up with Discord, but you guys talk too much. You type too much. So other than that, thank you. I'll see you later. Take care. Peace.